like, and the whole reason why I started speaking out, which has always gotten me, the whole reason why I started speaking out is because I feel like there is a group of people, a large group of people that were being silenced this year and being forced to, play this game of, wokeism or whatever it is. And I don't know where I belong on any political spectrum. I don't know where I belong on any feminine or masculine spectrum. I don't take that into account when a certain group is silenced, when a certain group isn't allowed to speak, when, when big tech and major news are not allowing people to have a voice, which I've personally experienced now. I think that we all as a community, we all as a group of Americans, as a world, should be worried about that, because you can't, discussion is good. If we are losing discussion, we are losing knowledge, and we are losing empathy for one another. And, what are we doing? So I decided to say something, and
one of the
that got me in trouble.
One of the underlying so one of the underlying elements of your characters, and particularly your character in The Mandalorian, is moral ambiguity. That things aren't just black and white, that people can, have flaws or shortcomings, gray areas, hurt, etc. And that this is something that has to be navigated. I thought, frankly, the most interesting episode of the entire season was the episode with Bill Burr, in part for that reason.
He's amazing.
Yeah. And by the way, can we just say this? One of the most amazing aspects of 2020 is that, like, Bill Burr is actually an actor now.
By the way, Bill Burr is a phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to set on one of the days that he was, one of his big days, and he's sitting there, and he takes it very seriously. Not only does he take it seriously, he's like a thespian. Like, he's phenomenal, and he's such a gentleman. Because I was actually...
I'm just thinking right now of Bill Burr doing the routine about you calling him a thespian.
Bill Burr's a thespian. And actually, he's one of the people I keep in touch with. I mean, I keep in touch with almost everybody, but he's always like, he's like, my wife's always like wanting to watch UFC, and she's always screaming at the television, knee. And he's like, oh my gosh, where'd this come from? But we keep in touch, and he's a perfect gentleman. He is, and he is an incredible actor, to where I was jealous, like, I imagine, like, he's just a freaking natural. He's so good. It's almost irritating.
It's just very funny because he's so self-deprecating about his inabilities.
And he's the biggest sweetheart. I would bring my dog to set, and he would always come over and, sit there and, pet my dog. I'm totally outing him right now. He's a sweetheart. He's the biggest gentleman, sweetheart. Like, he takes care of his body. He doesn't really drink. He's like, he's got perfect skin. He's just like, he's an incredible person.
As a longtime listener to his podcast, which he does twice a week, I will tell you, one of the funniest things about it is the fact that he will be mid-rant, R-rated, spittle-flecked, obscenity filled, and then he'll hear his daughter coming into the room, and it immediately cuts into, oh, hey, sweetheart, how are you this morning? That kind of thing. So I think...
Wait, did you... like, it was like a while ago, it was like early on the Philadelphia rant that he went on, where, like, he had some increase, and like the whole crowd had just gotten out of like a football game, and they were all drunk, and they were giving all of like they're giving all of the comedians before them like just the hardest. And so Bill just went out there and just attacked the entire, and they loved him for it. So he's a genius.
One bridge having city.
Absolutely love Bill.
One bridge having city. So Bill Burr's character makes an argument in that episode, which you admit you haven't seen, where he basically is saying, Empire, New Republic, they're all the same, sort of to these people. He's making kind of the gray area argument, which I think is interesting. And I'm just kind of curious about how you think it plays out. And also maybe in the context of the current fights that you're talking about on social media, have we lost our ability to see people as being in the gray area, as being not always just good or bad, but, being people with flaws and with both sort of good and bad going on with them?
100%. Well, I think that we've 100% lost the gray area, which I think most of us live in. And the way we lose that is by, take an election year, for instance. All of a sudden, you've got so many extreme people pulling you one way or another. And, if you say one thing, you're canceled, or you're, you're abused.
Mhm.
And so it's like, we've lost the ability to communicate and to see each other as human beings. And I guarantee that me and you will have similar opinions, and then other times we're probably gonna be like, yeah, completely different opinions. And I think that that's healthy. And what we're teaching people now is, you know, that it's not okay to have different opinions.
Well, um, I feel like you obviously have come into contact with this repeatedly this year, and I'm hopeful that you can kind of get beyond it. Does it give you any hope that, or do you have any kind of thought process about this that sort of says, as much as it seems kind of crazy online, as much as it seems crazy on Twitter, if you go to a store right now, if you go down to Target just to pick up paper towels or something, there's going to be a little action figure or a Lego, version or a minifig of you that's in that store that some kid's going to want. And they're going to buy that and they're going to play with it. And they're not going to have any hesitation about it because they're not on Twitter.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, does that make it any easier?
Um, what's made it easier, I think, is knowing that I could possibly be a part of a change in Hollywood, a change in um, some. The more people that you see unjustly persecuted online or in person, the more people that feel canceled, the more people that are seeing, hey, wait, why are you talking that way about Gina? She's always been out there spreading love and punching people, but like that was a different, that was in the octagon. That you can have question, like, wait a second, this doesn't seem right. Like, why are you canceling this person? I don't think that what she's done has been anything other than maybe exploring her own opinion. My own opinion might be this right now and it might evolve, but I've not done any harm. I've never done harm to other people because I know what it's like to be hated on. I know what it's like to be an outsider. I don't think I'll ever know what it's not like. I'm never going to be in a cool group. I'm just never going to be I'm going to be a loner. But like I think that the more people that can see that it's okay to do an interview with the Federalist, it's okay to do an interview as an actor, it's okay. What are we so afraid of? What is Hollywood so afraid of? What is everybody so afraid of by communicating with each other? This is something we should be doing. And it's important for everybody's stories to be told. I'm so happy that there's going to be stories told for the minorities and for groups of that have felt so unjustly represented in Hollywood. I'm so excited that those stories are coming and they're starting to come out, and you feel a sense of pride in America and you sense of pride in Hollywood. Like, okay, this is really good. We have to be very careful that we're not going to not appreciate that there's an artistic side and people that think conservatively. Like, conservatives, Republicans, whatever, they're not like the biggest lie you've been told. It's like those people are racists and those people are child molesters. It's like, oh, okay, so like we've parted ways when I think the majority of us probably need to just start paying attention to what's happening in our government a little bit more and voicing